Most people laugh when they hear someone say XRP could reach $10,000. They immediately shout market cap, like that ends the conversation. But they are using old school formulas to judge a brand new financial shift. They are trying to fix a modern liquidity crisis with outdated thinking. Right now, trillions of dollars are sitting still inside bank accounts around the world. That money is not working. It is not growing. It is just parked there to keep the system running. Here is what most people never see. When you send money to another country, it does not magically appear instantly. Behind the scenes, banks rely on complicated networks of Nostro and Vostro accounts. That means banks must store huge amounts of cash in foreign countries ahead of time. They lock up billions, just in case payments need to clear. That money just sits there. It produces nothing. It drains energy from the global economy. Look at the old banking model and you will see friction everywhere. Traditional systems demand pre-funded accounts. Billions are frozen in stagnant pools just to make international transfers possible. Now compare that to on-demand liquidity. Instead of freezing money worldwide, value can move exactly when it is needed. No piles of idle cash, no unnecessary capital trapped in foreign banks. This pre-funding structure is one of the biggest obstacles to global growth. We live in a world where information travels across the planet in milliseconds. Yet money still moves like it is stuck decades in the past. If we want real change, we do not need small upgrades. We need a neutral digital bridge that can transfer value without relying on one country or one central bank. When you solve a problem worth trillions of dollars, the solution itself becomes worth trillions. That is how massive companies are born. The size of this inefficiency is almost impossible to comprehend. This is not a minor issue. It is a structural bottleneck holding back global commerce. And wherever there is a bottleneck, there is opportunity. We are talking about an ocean of capital sitting frozen. That capital needs to be unlocked and put back into motion. The global liquidity gap is estimated around 27 trillion. That is money doing absolutely nothing because cross-border systems are slow and inefficient. XRP positions itself as the engine that can free that trapped value. It offers a universal bridge that does not require banks to pre-fund accounts. If we want a financial system built for the modern economy, the bridge must be strong enough to carry global trade. And once you understand that scale, the valuation math starts looking very different. Now, many people think RLUSD replaces XRP. That assumption completely misses the point. In today's financial world, stability gets you through the door, but speed is what actually completes the transaction. RLUSD is not here to remove the engine. It is designed to support the system, not replace the core driver of liquidity. Think of it like a high-pressure fuel system. And when you plan to move $10 billion, you do not throw it onto a volatile ride and hope for the best. You begin with something solid. RLUSD is that solid starting point. It represents stability before motion. Picture the new institutional pipeline. RLUSD is not the final stop. It is the launchpad. Institutions can park value in a stable form, wait for the right timing, and then deploy that capital across the XRP bridge. The stablecoin absorbs the waiting period. XRP handles the actual transfer of value. One holds steady, the other moves fast. Together, they form a closed-loop system where value stays inside the ledger. The structure is simple but powerful. The stablecoin anchors the price at entry and exit. XRP powers the cross-border jump. The entire flow remains within the XRP ledger. No outside banking maze, no dependency on legacy rails. This is not competition between RLUSD and XRP. It is cooperation. RLUSD gives institutions the stability they demand. XRP delivers the real-time settlement they require. Every time new RLUSD is issued, more value gets locked onto the ledger. That increases the gravitational pull of the entire ecosystem. This is more than a feature update. It is a capital magnet. As more value sits on chain, liquidity deepens. And when liquidity deepens, large trades can move without causing chaos in price. That is exactly what institutions need. Slowly but surely, this structure makes traditional banking rails less relevant. As RLUSD supply expands, order books on the XRP ledger grow thicker. That added depth reduces slippage on massive transactions. Stablecoins are not replacing XRP. They are building the runway that allows XRP to handle institutional volumes smoothly. The pieces are starting to connect. The entry ramp is built. Capital is flowing in. At some point, we stop staring at short-term retail charts and start analyzing structural math. If this ledger is meant to carry global commerce, then today's price does not align with that scale. Now let's address the big number. A $250 trillion market cap sounds absurd at first glance, but only if you misunderstand what market cap actually represents. Critics look at a $10,000 price target and instantly reject it. They compare the implied valuation to global GDP and laugh, but market cap is not a vault filled with cash. It is simply the last traded price multiplied by supply. It is a reflection, not a pile of stored money. Let's talk about XRP market cap, because so many people get this completely wrong. They look at the numbers and say, it can't go higher, the market cap would be too big. But that's like looking at a thermometer and telling the sun it's not allowed to get any hotter. It's completely backward thinking, and I'm going to show you why. First, what is market cap? It's simple. The current price multiplied by the total supply. That's it. It's a snapshot of where the asset is trading right now. It is not some vault filled with cash, and it absolutely does not define the limits of what can happen next. Here's the secret most people miss: the multiplier effect. When fresh capital enters the market, the impact isn't one-to-one. If $1 billion flows into XRP, the market cap doesn't just go up by 1 billion. Why? Because the amount of XRP actually for sale on exchanges, the liquidity, is limited. So even a relatively small wave of buying pressure can push the price and therefore the valuation dramatically higher. A few $1 billion in buying pressure can easily expand the market cap by tens of billions. It's a powerful force. Market cap is simply the outcome of price discovery. It follows the price. It doesn't lead it. Skeptics use this flawed, circular logic. They claim the price can't rise because the market cap would become too large. But the market cap is calculated from the price in the first place. You can't use the effect to block the cause. It's like saying a car can't go faster, because the speedometer would show a higher number. It just doesn't make sense. Now, let's connect this to real-world utility. If global demand requires XRP to move, say, tens of trillions of dollars in value every single day, the price has no choice but to adjust upward to support that level of activity. When the price climbs to meet that demand, the market cap automatically recalculates to reflect the new, higher value. Price sets the market cap. Utility pushes the price. That is the real chain reaction. This is where so much mainstream analysis completely fails. They confuse the amount of new money coming in with the total valuation. Meanwhile, the really big players, the smart money, they're not staring at market cap headlines. They're quietly accumulating while others are panicking. They're studying something else, liquidity depth. They want to know if they can move massive amounts of value without crashing the price on their own entry. They see the bigger picture. As utility and usage increase, demand for XRP increases. As demand increases, the price has to rise. And as the price rises, the market cap naturally follows. That massive valuation ceiling people are so afraid of is built on a fundamental misunderstanding of how digital liquidity and market dynamics actually work. Think about it like this. Market cap isn't a concrete wall. It's a scoreboard. It just shows the score of the current round of the game. And right now, the game is shifting away from pure speculation and hype toward real-world function. If XRP successfully becomes the plumbing system for global value transfer, the numbers you see on that scoreboard are going to look absolutely shocking to anyone who is still stuck in old, traditional ways of thinking. So ask yourself this: if market cap only reflects the last traded price, why do we treat it like a hard limit on what's possible? Let's go even deeper to something more fundamental. If XRP is seriously expected to move the world's money, it simply cannot operate at a tiny price forever. This isn't about greed or wild speculation. It's about pure mechanics. If you want a digital asset to carry the immense weight of global commerce, the infrastructure must be strong enough to handle the load. Imagine a pipeline. If the pipe is too narrow, the pressure builds up, the flow becomes inefficient, and the system can't do its job properly. A very low price for XRP creates a narrow pipe. To move a large amount of value, you'd need to send an impossibly large number of low-priced tokens, creating friction and inefficiency. A higher price per token widens that pipeline, allowing massive value to flow smoothly and efficiently with fewer tokens. For XRP to fulfill its purpose of providing on-demand liquidity for the entire world, a higher price isn't just a possibility, it's a mechanical necessity. The price must reflect the value it secures. So next time you hear someone say the market cap is too high, you'll know they're looking at the scoreboard from the last game, not the one that's about to begin. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow for more insights. At a very low price, every large transaction creates brutal slippage. One big order can send the market flying in seconds. That makes the network unreliable for the exact institutions it claims to serve. This is why price is not just speculation, it becomes structural. When the price is low, one major trade can distort the entire order book. Settlement becomes messy and expensive. But at something like $10,000, the situation changes completely. The ledger would have enough depth to absorb enormous flows of capital. Trillions could move with minimal disruption. Volatility would decrease because the liquidity pool would be massive. Think about it logically. If a central bank needs to shift $50 billion, it cannot operate in a market that barely has twice that invisible liquidity. They would end up pushing the price against themselves. That defeats the purpose. For XRP to function as a true global bridge, it needs to be priced high enough that moving value becomes boring. Boring is good, Boring means stable. Boring means predictable execution. Higher price creates deeper liquidity. Deeper liquidity makes large payments smoother. Ironically, a very low price makes it more expensive to move size. This is the math of the bridge. As price increases, the capacity of the network increases. As capacity increases, stability improves. That stability attracts even more usage. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. Eventually, the asset shifts from speculative toy to financial infrastructure. We are moving away from a market driven by retail emotion. We are stepping into a system shaped by global transaction volume. If the world moves $30 trillion daily and XRP carries a major share of that flow, the price must rise to support that load. Otherwise, the books would collapse under pressure. A $10,000 valuation in that context is not fantasy. It becomes a mechanical requirement. This is not about chasing hype. It is about building enough capacity for the system to function. When utility reaches a certain scale, price simply adjusts to make the equations balance. Now let's confront the uncomfortable question. If this logic is so strong, why has the price struggled recently? We have to separate long-term structure from short-term chaos. Right now, the market is full of fear. Retail traders are exhausted. Liquidations are shaking confidence. Old narratives are still weighing on sentiment. While the institutional groundwork is being built quietly, the short-term chart looks like a battlefield. On one side, you have panic and paper losses. On the other side, you have large holders increasing positions during dips. Fear dominates headlines. Accumulation happens in silence.